It's about time for some skateboard reviews. What is up? It's so nice to have you back on the channel. My name is Eddie Bear and today we will take a deep, thorough look at Evolve's new electric skateboard, the GTR Carbon in the all-terrain setup. By the way, for this review I not only risked my life, I also risked to lose my skateboard. No Evolve skateboards were harmed in the making of this review. Regarding my experience with electric skateboards, for now I have been riding a Mellow Drive for the last 1.5 years. For those of you who don't know about Mellow, Mellow is a company that creates electric skateboard drives. These drives can not only be combined with pretty much every available deck out there, they also have some unique security features built in. These facts were the reason why back then I decided to buy a Mellow Drive. Even though I absolutely love my Mellow Drive, I was looking for something that is able to take me places where a normal skateboard is pretty much failing you. So this review about the Evolve GTR Carbon All Terrain will show you what's inside the box and why I think that this skateboard is one of the best off-road skateboards you can get right out of the box. So with that said, let's see what's in the box. Okay, so here we have the Evolve GTR Carbon with the all-terrain tires. And as you can see, it comes with the camouflage rims. So this is a pretty heavy board, so let's see what else we get in the box. So the only other thing in this box is the accessory case. This is a really nice, sturdy case. Okay, so we have a bunch of accessories in here. First of all, we have additional screws in here, all kinds of sorts. One cable for the charging brick. The charging brick itself is kind of big, so as big as my hand. I did not own an Evolve board before, so I'm not sure whether this charger is bigger or the same as the other ones. Also in the box is a Y tool or T tool, call it as you like. You can tighten and loose all the screws that come with the board with this tool. Also, here's a little hard case. In it we can find the remote control itself. One charging cable for the remote control, one strap for the remote control, and also one carabiner. Also in this box are tons of paperwork, some nice Evolve stickers. I guess this is the part of the handle for the box. Don't know why it is in here. More Evolve stickers. Really dig the GTR logo, by the way. And the manual itself. Since we now know what's in the box, let's talk about some details of the skateboard and how it feels in the real world. If you take a closer look at the skateboard, we can not only see the great build quality, you can literally feel it. And let's face it, this carbon style is so beautiful. This board is so pretty, you just want to hang it on a wall and let it sit there. And since we're talking about details, I think the new forged trucks look like they can take some serious hits there. One thing you should consider if you're going for the all-terrain version, especially with the 175mm tires, this skateboard is getting massive. If you flip the skateboard around, the deck is actually still not hitting the ground, so it is still rolling on the tires. And even though this board is made out of carbon, it is a heavy board, especially with the all-terrain tires, so you will not want to carry that board for a long time. With the all-new design of the Evolve GTR Carbon, unfortunately a little hiccup made it into the design. I'm talking about the charging port. Unfortunately, after your first ride, this port will not stay shut, but Evolve fortunately already addressed this issue and changed the design, and all the customers who already got their boards with the old charging cover will get a free new charging cover, so they will rectify this issue. Okay, so now let's talk about how the Evolve GTR Carbon All Terrain actually rides. As a long-time mellow rider, I had mixed feelings in the beginning about the GTR. For example, I'm not too keen about the Evolve R2 remote. I think compared to the Mellow remote control, it's way too plasticky, and also the way how you interact with the remote feels more intuitive with the Mellow remote. But I have to say I was quite impressed with the battery life of the R2 remote, especially if you consider that this remote has a display on top of it. What really took me some time to get used to is the way how the GTR is actually accelerating. The Mellow Drive will accelerate more fluidly, so depending on the drive mode you are in, you're actually accelerating around a certain curve, so this will help you to stay on your board, especially if you're a new rider. But I gotta admit, if you once get used to how the GTR accelerates, it's all fine, but there is a certain learning curve there. So how does the GTR Carbon feel while you're riding it? Since my Mellow Drive is equipped with the motherboard deck from Loaded, I'm used to a lot of flex from a bamboo deck. The carbon deck of the GTR gives you pretty much no flex whatsoever, so I had to kinda get used to it, but also the all-terrain tires take away a lot of the unevenness of the road, and it even feels more smoother riding with the all-terrain tires than having a flexing bamboo deck. In my opinion, the carbon deck of the GTR gives you a lot of control, especially if you're going off-road or on very uneven pavements. I also think at high speeds this deck is giving you a lot of security and stability while riding. The riding experience with the GTR Carbon to me almost compares to a snowboard. I've never experienced an electric skateboard where you can carve this good, and if you're pushing the limits, you actually can drift with the whole board. And talking about the capabilities, I was massively impressed how powerful this board was. So in order to test it, I took it to the nearest steepest incline I know around, and I was able to manage to get up with the board a 17 degrees gradient. The only weird thing that happened while I was going uphill, the moment I did let go of the accelerator, my board stopped right away. So I'm not really sure whether this is a bug or a feature, but let's get back to the incline test. So after I flew off the board, I was even able to get the board up and running again from a full stop. So since I have heavy bones and I weigh somewhere around 84 kilos, I was able to get the board up and running again, and this is impressive. With all this stress testing at the GTR Carbon, you may be wondering how far actually will the battery get you. Regarding the range, I can tell you that much. Most of my rides were solely done in Pro mode. 90% of the time I was either off-road or going up and down hills, and after 15 to 18 kilometers I had about 50% of the battery left. So this leaves us the conclusion that 30 plus kilometers is actually a realistic number to get out of the all-terrain setup. But take this with a grain of salt, cause if you go 20 kilometers off-road, your legs are pretty much falling off. On Instagram and the Facebook groups we've already seen a lot of range tests, and you can say that with the street tires you pretty much can get over 50 kilometers out of this board. So that's quite impressive with one charge. Naturally, with Evolve's GTR series you also get different kind of drive modes. And I have to admit I was quite surprised that the Eco mode is so feisty. I would not expect an Eco mode to have such a punch. With the GTR you also receive the GTR mode and the custom mode. To be honest, I kinda stayed away from these two modes cause the GTR mode is way too powerful for my driving skills at this point in time. For the custom mode you need the Evolve app, but unfortunately Evolve did not release it yet in the App Store, but I'm told that it will be released very shortly. Another thing I was quite surprised about is how the GTR actually sounds. A lot of the belt-driven electric skateboards have this annoying hiss when you're going fast and you're accelerating, but not the GTR. The GTR has this real pleasant sound. But I also have to point out that belt-driven systems need more maintenance than hop skateboards. Once I started to mob around with the GTR off-road, the pleasant sound somehow started to sound like this. After I cleaned the whole drive system, it again sounded like this. And just to give you a little example why I love to ride my Mellow Drive within the city, this is how a hub motor sounds like. So what is my overall verdict about the Evolve GTR Carbon, and will I ditch my Mellow Drive for it? Well, I have to say the Mellow Drive will still be my go-to guy if I'm traveling around the city, and I have to admit I would pretty much miss the endless mode of the Mellow Drive. The endless ride mode is pretty much like a pedelec mode, so I still have to push the board myself and get some workout in, but it will maintain the speed for a while and slow down as I surf along, and in order to accelerate again I have to push the board again. For me personally, this is one of the nicest ways to get around in a city. But the moment I hit uneven terrain or go off-road, the GTR is pretty much the king of the road. Since I own the GTR Carbon, I started to explore way more and I discovered places I didn't even know existed. Alone through this fact, the GTR Carbon is now my standard travel companion, so wherever I'm traveling, the GTR is coming along. And even though the GTR is not one of the smallest boards out there, I can say that it's way more agile than it actually looks. For me, the GTR Carbon All Terrain is the perfect add-on for my lifestyle, and I would not want to trade it either way, so I definitely love it and you will love it too. So with all that said, if you have any questions surrounding the Evolve GTR All Terrain or the Mellow Drive, hit me up down in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, do all the stuff that YouTubers have to do, and well, thanks for watching and I see you in the next review. Peace!